How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know by the time you guys are seeing this, I will be on my way back from Vance Warp's War. And then... we just have some kills that we go still on casuals and rebirth, unfortunately. And we'll be considering on with the Orchards bone.
Chapter 12, Rootbound. They didn't stop running until the mist thinned and the earth hardened underfoot. A half-buried shrine rose out from long forgotten, choked in vine and cracked with frost. There, beneath the moss-blackened arch, Lyra finally lifted her. Kale collapsed onto a flat stone, heart hammering. Fingers clenched tight around the bone-white pendant at his chest. It still pulsed. Soft, slow, but alive. Lyra knelt beside him, her breath unsteady. What happened back there? I don't know, Kale stammered. It just reacted when he came close. She narrowed her eyes at the relic. The lore keeper said it remembered the way. She didn't say it could fight. Kale turned the pendant in his hand. Up close, the carvings were clearer than before, less worn. The tree's roots now glowed faintly, spreading into a small, spiraling sun. He didn't remember that detail when she first gave it to him. Maybe it's changed because of me. Lyra looked skeptical. Or maybe it's waking up. They sat in silence for a moment, the only sound the wind whirring the high reeds. Then Lyra rummaged in her satchel and pulled out a folded scrap of parchment, creased, brittle, and sealed with the faded wax of the old empire. This was recovered from an old bone-warding vault. I didn't understand it before, but now, Kale opened it. The ink was smeared, but readable. Relic, Rootbound symbol, bearer, Sentinel Vague. Function, memory anchor, allows a host to traverse and stabilize ancestral imprint. Warning, prolonged exposure may erode selfhood. Use only if binding has begun. He looked up. It's a memory anchor? Lyra nodded. It stabilizes the echo inside you, keeps Vay from taking over. Or worse, bleeding into world again. Kale ran his thumb across the hard. Then that's why the bleach one backed off. This isn't just a relic, it's a shield. And a doorway, Lyra said grimly. You're carrying the last tether to a war the world buried. That makes you the only thing holding Velith back, or letting him through. A cold knot twisted in Kale's stomach. So either I remember and lose myself, or forget and doom everyone. Lyra didn't sugarcoat it, pretty much. He stood slowly, staring out over the still water. Somewhere beyond the foam, Iron Teeth Mountains loomed like black spines on the horizon. Somewhere beyond that, the black well waited. I need to know more, he said. There's more in Vay's memories, more I haven't seen. Lyra folded her arms. You sure you're ready for that? No, Kale said, turning back toward her. But I think the pendant is... He held it up. The roots on the carving twisted. Just slightly. Just enough to shift the sun into an eye. Lyra tensed. That's new. The pendant pulsed. And in the quiet that followed, a faint whisper drifted through Kale's mind. Not all who were bound stayed buried.
Tasking request received. UAV
Changing max.
Chapter 15, Teeth of the World. The iron teeth rose like a snarl at the world's edge. Jagged peaks, stained red with old or an older blood, clawed at the sky. The air here was colder, thinner, sharpened by wind that screamed down the slopes like a hunted thing. Snow clung to the shadows, even in late summer. Kale stared up at the mountains, heart thudding. People cross that? Lyra grunted. Fools, ghosts, and the desperate. Which are we? Some mix. They followed a forgotten goat trail that twisted along a ravine. The ground cracked with frost and overgrown with thornweed. The sun was a pale coin overhead, and every step higher seemed to pull it farther away. The black wells beyond deep. Kale asked, breath misting. Lyra nodded. At their heart, deep beneath the old pass, it was once a fortress. Final stand. Now it's a tomb. For Aaron, for everyone who tried to stop Velith. They climbed in silence, save for the wind and the crunch of gravel underfoot. As they neared a stone arch chiseled into the cliffside, a remnant of an ancient mountain. Kale's pen began to throb again. He stopped. It's stronger now. Lyra looked back. Memories thicker up here. The land remembers what it carried. So does the air. As they passed beneath the arch, Kale felt the world shift. Not visibly, but in the bones of things. The rocks hummed faintly. The wind began to speak, not in words, but in rhythms. Battle songs long forgotten, sung by voices that no longer had mouths. Lyra slowed. We're being watched. Kale glanced around. The mountains were still, but there, just beyond a crooked spire of basalt, a shape hunched in the snow, motionless. At first, Kale thought it was moving. Then it moved. Its limbs were too long. Its back arched unnaturally, draped in a fraying red banner. It carried a spear tipped with bone. Its face was hidden beneath a cracked iron helm, rusted shut. It didn't charge. It waited. Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. A remnant. Kale swallowed. What is that? Not quite dead. Not quite free. Some warriors who fought, and the binding never left their bodies. Their souls twisted into what Aaron's oath wouldn't let die. The remnant turned slowly. Not toward them, toward Kale's chest. The pendant. It dropped to one knee. Kale blinked. Is it bowing? No, Lyra said. It's remembering. The remnant knelt deeper. The spear placed gently at its feet. And then, with a shuddering groan of metal and grief, it crumbled, armor first, then bone, then dust, scattered on the wind. All that remained was a broken helm, steaming faintly in the snow. Kale approached it. Inside the rusted rim, a single word was etched in an old dialect. Hey! Lyra stepped beside him. The mountain remembers its general. Kale knelt and picked up the helm. As he touched it, the pendant flared, and a memory leapt into his mind. Aaron Bay standing atop the Blackwell, sword raised, the mountain itself cracking open beneath him as fire and shadow clawed skyward. A final command spoken not in words, but blood. Then it was gone. Kale exhaled. He died here. No, Lyra said, looking out over the path ahead. He chose to stay.
home the win.
Priority tasking request received. UAV exiting AO.
Changing max.
Gas is closing in.
Changing max. Another kill. Get down, frag. Changing max.
Squad marked.
Changing max.
LDBR inbound. Gas is inbound.
Changing max.
You've got gas moving in.
Changing max. Incoming tactical.
Enemy advanced UAV is active.
Changing max.
As always, thank you guys for watching, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the story down below, and or the gameplay, and or ideas that you would like to see on Tuesdays.